Oh, crazy story. I went to delete my personal Instagram because I felt like I was wasting too much time and energy on the wrong people, and it wasn't the feed that made me wake up and feel good about myself. Turns out I deleted my business page as well. So, hashtag good job, Gab. Probably not the best story to tell while I redo my page and try to convince people to hire me as their personal assistant, but I'll promise not to do it to yours. If that is not the best way to introduce our guest today, then I don't know what is. Welcome back to Resourced. It is so good to have you all listening, and I have a very special guest that I am going to formally introduce to you in a moment. And I want to tell you a little bit, first of all, about how we connected. That message that I just read out to you was a post that my long time uh, virtual assistant turned OBM posted that I saw on Instagram one day. And I went, oh, she's so funny. I was like, oh, she seems cool. She's so funny. And I followed her. And I think I reached out and said hi and I followed her. And a few weeks later, I started thinking more and more. It was like seeing that post and connecting with her planted a seed in my head that, hey, maybe I could hire an assistant. And then I was like, I'll take my time, I'll look. And then I just went straight back to her. And her, I'm talking about Gab Virgo. I'm talking about the person who has been the backbone in my business, the very first person that I hired, my sounding board, my strategic eyes, my customer service in my mastermind, like the way you look after those ladies. We all love you so much. Gab, welcome to the podcast. I am
Thank you.
so excited to have you here and so excited to have a conversation with you about so many different things that we're going to chat about today, the lens of personal growth, your business, maybe a little bit of strategy. Like, let's see where the conversation takes us. But first of all, I just want to say that when I brought Gab into my business, I had a story that I could not afford to hire someone because, my business was quite new at that point in time and I didn't have the excess income to justify, quote unquote, bringing someone in to support me. But at the same time, I had absolutely no problem sending my daughter to an extra day of daycare to do all these admin tasks that I really wasn't good at, things that were taking me so long to do. And so that's when I suddenly realized, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to find out what it's going to cost because I'm the type of person who likes to have all the information. And I remember reaching out to you, and I reached out to you because I connected with that very human post. Like that, hey, I accidentally deleted my whole Instagram, but I promise I won't do it to you. I was like, oh, I love it. She's so cool.
Perfect
And
starting point, right?
yeah, exactly. And so I went and found out what it would cost me and realized that it was essentially equivalent to me sending Amelia to another day of daycare to have you do this work in my business every week. And at that point in time, for me, it was about, yeah, getting the tasks that were not in my zone of genius, that were taking me far too long, a lot of very basic admin tasks at that point in time. But it just changed everything for me. Like, I know that's probably one of those sentences that a lot of people just kind of say, right? Oh, I did this and it changed everything. But it really, truly did. Because at that point in time, I got a day back with my daughter until I was ready to put her into care because I had to see clients at that, for that exchange. I got a lot of my energy and my sanity back because of the things and then things up leveled because the quality. So what I realized very quickly was the things that I was doing, but not in my zone of genius. Yes, they were getting tick box done, but they weren't being done that well. And then you came in and you did the things that I was doing and taking a whole day for. Well, you did that in a few hours. And so it just brought me back so much time, so much freedom, and so much like leveled up business. And that was just the beginning. Like we have grown together over the last few years. And I really, really love that because as my business has needed more depth and more strategy and more funnels and launches and all of the fun pieces, Gab has been there growing with me, growing, learning, implementing, strategizing. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I have
I'm so
so much love for
excited.
you. I just honestly, do you know we still haven't met in real life either?
I know, which is insane.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I have not met, I think I've met one client ever
Really?
in my business of 8 years.
Oh my
Everyone's always
gosh.
interstate, so
Yeah. Okay.
which is
Well,
really, really crazy.
if I come up north, then I will absolutely
Yeah,
come and say hi.
please do.
Can you tell us just a little bit about you and who you are and what you do now?
Okay. Yeah, so classic introduction of how we first met. I think that was, I always reflect back to that because I'm like, I just was like, no, just screw it. Let's just put it all out there, put everything on the table, and that's how I came back. And I'm so glad that I did because I had already been in business as a virtual assistant for a few years before that post. And of course, after deleting my account. But when I restarted, I really started to come a bit more into my own and actually be able to deliver who I am and my personality. And like you said, that's how I built the human connection. And from there, my business boomed a lot quicker than what I thought it would.
Mm.
Um, yeah, because I was bringing my personality back, because I was more aligned in my business and just bringing me back to life, I guess. But I started my business as a virtual assistant. My sister got me into it. I was literally transcribing some of her coaching calls one day, and she was like, "Why don't you just do this as a business?" Um, and that's kind of how it all started. I had my daughter. She was about I think 8 to 10 months old when I first started my business. I was a very new single mum. My whole family is interstate, and the option of daycare was just not an option for me at that point in time. And I had a hospitality background, so I there was no way that I could be doing 4 a.m. finishes with a 10-month-old on my own. So that was not an option. So at the end of the day, doing something online, being able to work from home with my daughter was the only option. So I did start my business from survival. I needed to somehow provide an income. And yeah, that's how it started. I started transcribing videos back before AI did it all. I was literally sitting there typing, pausing, listening, like, thank God for AI now, right? But yeah, that's how it started. And I literally jumped onto a Facebook group and put it out to the world. Hey, I'm starting a business. And I literally gained 2 or 3 clients just from that. So I
Wow.
did get clients very, very quickly,
Yeah.
especially with someone with no experience. I was in uni as well. So I was literally halfway through my uni degree, um,
What
which we
was your
did not
degree?
finish.
What were you doing?
I was doing a Bachelor of Human Resources and then I
Okay.
changed to Bachelor of Business. Um, so we actually ended up not finishing my bachelor and we just got an associate degree. Yeah, a few years later, because I was like, this is not what I want to do. I do not want to sit in a 9 to 5 in the city every day. It
Mm.
was just not the ideal life that was coming. So yeah, I was doing a lot when I first started, and obviously navigating a lot of emotional and personal things that were going on in my life at that time as well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was all the things, but I knew that I just had to be doing something, and I always have to have my mind busy or,
Mm.
doing something very intentional. So yeah, that was my starting point. That's where it all began, and I just kept doing that. I remember charging, I think it was $50 an hour to start off with,
Mhm.
um, which was quite high back then. This was 8 years ago. That was quite high back then. And over those few years, I started doing a bit of content creation. I started learning how to do Canva. Um, what else was I doing? I remember getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do an email marketing call with someone in the US. And then my daughter cracked it halfway through. So then I had to stop the call and go to her and then go back and forth. It was a lot of learning curves, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so that's kind of where it all began.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward a few years, I was a bit on and off. I was part time, full time, just navigating all the trenches of single motherhood as my daughter grew up a little bit and all the
Mm.
things. And then, yeah, it came to that point where I accidentally deleted my account because I was like, hey, I can't focus on doom scrolling Instagram all the time. It was becoming more and more addictive and all the things. So, yeah, we deleted the personal account, deleted the business account, and then that was the fresh start. That was the reset we all needed, which was, yeah, really good because I was getting myself into this loop of always doing what other people wanted and needed,
Mm. Yeah.
saying yes to things that I did not want to be doing,
Yeah.
which I feel like we all kind of all go through those phases,
Mm.
right? But
Absolutely. We
yeah,
have to learn where our boundaries set and yeah.
yeah,
Oh, do you know what I just really love about what you shared just then? And I think for anyone listening, this is a really important piece. You jumped in. I'm sure there would have been fear and whatnot, but you jumped in not knowing what it was going to look like, not knowing exactly. It's just like, okay, well, I need to create an income for my family. I'm going to
mm,
do what it takes.
yeah,
And I love that because look where it has led you now.
100%.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about who you're working with now and what you're actually doing because you have obviously some VA, you have a VA role, but you also work in the OBM space, but you now coach people too. So tell us about how it's actually evolved over that.
Mm. Yeah, well, I feel like I've worn a lot of hats. And like I said, I've always gone a bit on and off with my business. Like I've had other jobs in between as well. I was a medical assistant at one point. I had to go back to hospitality at one point after meeting my partner, only due to the client work not having those boundaries set in place and then, kind of falling apart, getting back up again, falling apart, getting back up. So it's been a really big up and down, but over the years, I wore a lot of different hats. I'd been doing email marketing, I'd be doing web design, graphic design, I'd be doing social media, blog writing. I was blog writing for an education company at one point, which was bizarre. Um, and
And this is before AI, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, before I this was when I nearly learned
I
in
just
the
feel like I
first
had to
few
make that
years.
definition because
Yeah,
blog writing then versus blog writing
yeah.
now is
No, I was
very
sitting there
different.
writing, browsing those blogs.
You have to actually write, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was doing a lot of different things, and it got to a point where I was like, I'm not just an assistant anymore. I'm not just checking off someone's to-do list, which, yes, I still do to a point, but I realized I was like, I have so much more value to give than just checking off a to-do list in a Trello board or whatever, it is on for Notepad, whatever. And so that's why I kind of started stepping a bit into more of an OBM, into a more of a leadership role, because obviously with so much experience working with all these different people in different industries, like I've worked with beauty specialists, hairdressers, mindset, business coaches, copywriters, oh gosh, whoever. I've worked with so many different industries that I've even worked for builders and things like that, that I was like, I've seen so many different strategies behind the scenes.
Mm.
Like I've seen so many things fail and so many things succeed.
Yeah, I was
I
just gonna
don't,
say you would have seen not only a lot of different strategies, but you would have seen a lot of what's working and what's
mm,
not working too. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that, and because I was working with so many different industries, because had never been so focused on, okay, I have to work with this specific person, that I was really able to pull a lot of those different strategies and be like, okay, well,
Mm.
if this works for this person, it's not going to work for that person in the same sense, but you can definitely pull those different variations. And that's like what I found kind of really like set me different to what everyone else was doing,
Hmm.
and allowed me to step into that leadership role.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, like I've seen businesses flop as well, and I've seen businesses hit millions of dollars. So I've seen a lot of different perspectives. And that's what kind of stepped me into more of the OBM and the leadership role, and
Mm.
actually being able to share my opinion because it got to a point where it's like, okay, people actually value my opinion now because of what I have experienced. And it
Mm.
took me a really long time to get to that and to
Mm.
be able to share that as well. Um, yeah, because, a lot of people do just see an assistant as an assistant of someone who's going to go run their errands or, so that identity shift took me a really long time to be like,
Mhm.
okay, you're allowed to be an assistant, but you are also so much more than that. Um,
I love that you're talking about the pivot and then the identity shift because I've had two podcast conversations today with different guests. Actually, I've literally had eight guests in total
yeah,
today because I've done
been a busy gal.
two like with four panels each,
Mm,
and everything, particularly in the first one, was talking so much about pivots, rebirths, identity deaths, but also that ability to be able, and we actually talked about this a lot in the last one that I just did, that ability to be able to be really authentically expressed. And in that, that comes with starting to learn to feel safe,
mm,
to be seen and known for, and share your opinions. And one of the questions I was just asked in the last episode was, how do you, what was it? Like, what do you do when you're kind of in that like heavy, burn it all down kind of energy? And they said, well, everything that I see of people in that space is because either their identity has shifted and
yeah.
their business hasn't caught up yet because they're either not allowing it to pivot or they don't have that awareness,
Mhm,
or their business is shifted and their identity actually has to come and catch up to that. And so, what I'm hearing with yours is that your identity over this time, as you've learned more, as you've seen more, but also as you've started to come back more to yourself, I assume, as those earlier years of motherhood with your daughter
mhm.
and things also kind of, as the hormones settled and all the things that we
Yeah.
go through as postpartum mums, as you start to reconnect with and remember who you are and make your mistakes and do all your learnings and see, like, I'm hearing that you're there going, I'm actually like really good at what I do
Mm.
and I have so much value to add. And now I'm going to learn how to own that.
Yeah.
Love
And it
that.
definitely took a really long time to
Yeah,
own
it's a
that.
journey. It is a
100%.
journey.
Mm,
Yeah, but now let's just point out that then there is that like time gap that then now you've got to that point where you've got this identity that you now know what you want to lead from, and your business is in the pivot to catching up to that.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the OBM, that's the first piece of the pivot, the coaching, and now stepping into this level of leadership, next level of leadership, to
Mhm.
say, hey, I can actually mentor you in your business.
Yeah.
I can be your strategist. Like that in itself is your business catching up to your new identity.
Mm. 100%. And I feel like it had always somewhat been in the background that that's
Mm.
what I want to be doing for the last few years. But like obviously I've had another child since then. He's now just over 2. So going through that identity shift again somewhat postpartum did kind of rock it a little bit. I was very
Yeah.
ready before he was born to step into that role, and I didn't go backwards, but I just paused.
Yeah.
Um, and I was in this zone of it'll happen when the time's right, or
Yeah.
once I've gotten past this stage, or et cetera, et cetera. I was kind of waiting for something to yell at me and be like, okay, now's the time. But it didn't, and that was all in myself. That was my own. I'm like, okay, I need to step into this myself.
Mm.
I know I'm good at what I do, and I wish I had someone who had been through what I had been to be like, okay, this is how you stand out. This is how you get incredible clients and,
Mhm.
referrals and things like that
Mhm.
by having that little bit of that differentiation of everyone else in the industry. Because
Yeah.
it's so many assistants and OBMs at the moment. It is hard to stand out. It's hard to get clients. And
Mm.
I just had to, yeah, step into that role of like, okay, I'm going to be that person for people. I want people to know that what's possible. Like I've got now 5 beautiful children in my big blended family, and I technically only really at my desk 2 full days a week, and I'm able to support incredible clients and now teach
Mm.
others how to do the same thing as well. So yeah, lots of exciting things happening. It did take me a long time. It's been a really long road, but I'm all for everything happens for a reason. There's so many different learning
Absolutely.
opportunities that we've had along that those 8 years.
Oh, do you know, like, I think you've heard me say this before, I'm sure, but I deeply, deeply believe that every challenge, everything that we face is an opportunity for us to take a step into our next level identity.
Yeah.
And so we have to have those challenges. We have to have those growth moments. We have to have the pauses because the season of life as well. We're just saying before, like we're not robots.
Mm,
We can't just be on and go. Like even as a generator, you're not just going all the time. Like you need to have the consistent energy for something that lights you up. And
yeah.
if you are trying to really pull in what that is and trying to initiate what that's going to be, then all you're going to do is end up creating something completely misaligned. Whereas trusting that you will have the energy for what is right when it comes, like that is
Mhm.
just such an important piece. I want to
Mm,
ask you, you said that throughout the journey, and I just really want to talk about this because emotional resilience is one of those things that, I mean, I'm all for obviously the identity work, all of that. And I think emotional resilience work is something that a lot of people really do overlook. And one
mhm.
of the biggest reasons I believe that people actually leave their businesses is because of how it's made them feel,
Yeah.
regardless of what the failure is. They're leaving because of what they've interpreted about themselves about that and how it's made them feel. And so for you
100%.
to say, sorry, for you to say, I fell down and I got back up, and I fell down and I got back up, and then I got a different role, and I got a hospitality job, and then I came back to it. Can you tell me a little bit about the mindset and like what was going through your thoughts when you were going through that? Because nothing is a linear journey, and I just really want to bring in like the realness of that. Like
Mm,
you have a successful business. You
yeah.
you provide for your family. You are booked out. I can't tell you how many people I've recommended, to you that have come and worked, and I can only imagine that other people are the same. So you have created that quote unquote success, whatever we want to determine that is, but it hasn't been easy, straightforward, or even consistent in the sense of, like you said, I had to step out of the business for a bit and then come back. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this the other day. I had always actually thought of this, of me stepping in and out of my business, going, full tilt to like, nope, not doing this anymore, burning it to the ground, all things. I always thought that as a failure, as like, okay, I've never stuck with it for that long. However, I was thinking about this the other day. And a lot of the reason why I did have to step back was due to either the clients that I was working with weren't aligned, or my boundaries, like the boundaries I was setting for myself, weren't strong enough. So they were getting pushed over. So then I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. I wasn't enjoying the clients that I was working with. So a lot of that, um, I guess, disconnect between who I am, what I want to be doing, and then what I was actually doing came into a really big factor into that. And yeah, so I got to like, I remember when I did leave the first time and went back to hospitality, after I met my partner, it was primarily due to the clients that I was working with, or the things I was getting asked to do. And I'm like, oh, yep, sure, because I had to make that money. Or,
Mm,
I had to keep the client or to get the new client, or,
yeah,
like there was always a reason why I would say
yeah,
yes. But
yeah. And I would identify that as a scarcity
yeah,
energy. For the people in
yeah,
my world, I'll say it because they'll hear me say the language. Like that's I would identify that, and it's just such a thing that we all go through from time to
yeah,
time. But it is that I'm going to say yes, I'm going to keep that client because I need that money or I need that
yeah,
income, even though they're draining me, even though I feel like this after I interact with
yeah.
them, even though they don't respect my boundaries, even
Mm.
though can I
There was
say,
always an even though. Yeah, 100%.
I've seen such a growth with you, if I'm allowed to share.
hmm
Um, You won't mind. I
Mm.
remember once a few years ago saying, like what, what's your zone of genius? What do you absolutely like? What part do you absolutely love? Because I'm sitting there thinking, how can I give her more of what she loves
Yeah.
and really work people to their strengths? And you're just like, oh, I'll do everything.
Yeah. That was
And
me for like
yeah,
probably a good 4 or 5 years.
yeah. And now I know
Yeah.
that if I
Yeah.
ask you that, you're going to say my zone of genius is, well, in your own words, but I see it as my zone of genius is the strategy behind like the build,
Yeah.
like at the strategy and the build behind the things, like the
Yeah.
system, the
Yeah.
sexy systems.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a lot of it was always just saying yes to everything. And that was where I went in and out of business. And
Mm.
I now ask my team member, like I've got a beautiful VA who helps me with a few things with you and other clients, and I find myself being like, okay, what do you actually want to be doing? Because I don't
Yeah.
want to be that client
Yeah.
who's giving you things that you hate because I hated doing that. So
Yeah.
that was a really great learning curve for me as well, not just as a business owner, but as a leader as well for them and for as a client as well. Um, but yeah, that was, and I think a lot of people go through that in business was
Oh,
there's always
absolutely.
a say yes to everything at the beginning just to land the client or
Yeah.
because there was that, and because I was a single mum, I was doing that based off survival. Like I needed to get that money. I had to make that income. So that was the way that I knew best how to do that. Um,
Mm.
and it wasn't until, yeah, I remember restart. Oh, it was actually from COVID. I had to leave my job because of COVID, and I came back to my business full time. I was like, okay, this is like now or never. It's okay, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Um, and I remember sitting there, but okay, this is what I'm not settling for, and like this is what I'm set like. This is my boundaries. This is the standard that I'm setting now, and I'm not going below it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep going back and
Mm.
forwards. Um, so I feel like, yeah, you do get to a certain point where you're like, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's not working. Let's
Yeah.
fix it.
What did you notice when you actually then implemented it? Well, first of all, knew what your boundaries would be and then implemented them. What ripple effect did you notice within yourself? And I'm asking this because so many people are scared to set the boundaries. What if they get
mm,
mad at me? What if they leave? What if I lose that client? Like, well,
yeah,
you know the fears. Like
yeah,
we
yeah.
know. So what did you find happened for you and your family once you set those boundaries within your business? Particularly in a role, I will just say as well, where you are in such demand. Like you can't see me, well, you can on YouTube, but it's like I'm kind of like grabbing her. Like it's almost like, mom, mom, mom,
Yeah.
mom. It's a little bit like that, really,
Yeah.
I would imagine, because it's like, oh, Gab, I need this. Gab, can you do
Mm.
this? Oh shit, this is due tomorrow. Oh my God, this is broken. Can you jump in and fix this? This person didn't get their email. Like it's a lot of like, mom, mom, mom. So
Yeah.
what did you find once you set those boundaries?
I found one, the more boundaries I set and the firmer I was on them, the more people responded well to it. Like people, like when we first started to, for example, you were one of my first long-term retainer clients, and we had set days that we were working on your business, set hours, set days. You had to,
It was
put in all your,
Wednesday.
yeah, and we still do Wednesdays to this day, I'm fairly sure. But the yeah, it was like the more clear and open and honest I was at the very beginning, the more clients respected that, but like, okay, yep, that works well for me. I mean, yeah, you can be a bit flexible here and there, but I found that I started getting really, really in demand clients coming after me the more boundaries I set in place
Mm,
because it was organized, it was strategic, it
yeah.
was it was not chaos. And that is why people outsource because they don't want to feel
Mm,
chaotic anymore. So when
yeah.
when someone came to me and they were like, "Oh, I just feel like everything's all happening. I need this done this day." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's focus on this is when you need to have things to me by."
Hmm.
Anything after that, might go to the next week or so on. So being strict with people
Yeah.
actually calmed them down,
Mm,
and we were able to get 10 times more work done.
mm,
And when people understood that, things just flowed so much better.
yeah.
And now I'm a bit more lenient because I do have that more of a flexibility in my schedule.
Mm.
But like if you message me on a weekend, for example, and I
Mm.
don't reply, I know that you respect why I'm not
Mm.
replying. But if I do
Absolutely.
reply, it's not like you expect me to, like, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like there's that expectation now where
I
it's
run
like,
mine a bit similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not like,
Yeah.
yeah, I might message someone on a weekend, but I don't expect them to reply till Monday
Hmm.
or the day that
Yeah.
I'm working. Like
Yeah.
there's that level of respect.
Hmm.
Whereas when you don't have that relationship to start with, the respect can then get a little bit lost, and that's when the boundaries get stepped on and things like that. So
Yeah.
for me, it was being really clear up front, and
Hmm.
I have like still to this day, my clients refer me like, and you refer me to a lot of clients,
Mm.
and that is probably a lot of the reason why, because it's like, hey,
Yeah.
people don't want their chaos,
Yeah.
so they outsource, and
Hmm.
that's being really clear and open and honest from the get-go is
Yeah.
massive difference. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to
Yeah.
hire a VA to help you get organized and then it feel more overwhelming. And
Yes.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell the clients who stay long term and the ones who aren't going to stay very long because
Hmm.
they don't respect that or
Mm.
they're not quite there yet to
Yeah.
have that structure.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that would
Yeah.
be, yeah, the more strict I was, the more clients I got, I found.
Yeah.
But to a point, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So then what did you notice then in terms of, because obviously when we don't have our solid boundaries, we do leak a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So what did you then find happened then in the ripple at home from setting the boundaries?
Yeah, well, I was able to switch off
Mm.
because I literally remember this day really clearly with one of my old clients who had no boundaries at this point. And I remember driving to my now fiance's house one afternoon, and I had to pull over on the side of the road
Mm.
because she messaged me wanting something right then, right now. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
I got to do it now. I got to pull over, do it on my phone. It was like a hashtag. It was something that was not urgent. And I got to that point and I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why
Mm.
am I, one, it was a weekend. Two, I was definitely not working, but yet I had to make that a priority. And so putting those boundaries in place with work, now I'm able to switch off. Now I'm able to have set hours where my kids know when I'm working, my kids know when I'm not.
Yeah.
And, it's just like that level of organization at home in work comes into home. And
Mm.
I do love that because now I get to pick them up from school, drop them off, do all the things, do all the afternoon sports. We've got 4 sports every week after school. Like if you don't have
That's
boundaries,
huge.
that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was a necessity for me because obviously stepping into going from one child to now 5,
Mm.
those boundaries had to be in place for me to be able to be a mother to that many
Yeah.
children and be
Yeah.
present and, be a partner as well. And
Yeah.
then also have time for myself. So
Yeah.
it is definitely a ripple effect.
And I would also imagine that obviously being a mother and having 5 children around and just the general stress of life, like your nervous system is already at a certain
Yeah.
tolerance, right? Like regulation would be something I imagine would be constantly regulating. But when you are always on in your
Yeah.
business too, when you always have to be alert, oh, do I have to respond to this person's message now? Oh, are they
Mm,
going to get the shits if I don't? Oh, is that a task I'm going to drop everything for? That just from like a health perspective and from a mental and
yeah.
emotional health perspective, I can only imagine
Mm,
how much less stress you would have
yeah.
saved yourself by
Yeah.
implementing
I mean,
boundaries
even
like
if
that.
someone like a client would message me on like Instagram, even if they were like replying to a story and be like, oh, I love this, or, something
Mm.
casual, I would reach this level of anxiety
Pressure.
like, oh, do they
Yeah.
need something from me now? Or like, that
Mm.
was the point that it got to. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is not how it should be.
No. Do you know, I was working with Jazz Jervis a couple of years ago as a mentor, or up until the beginning of this year. But when I first entered her world, they have a email response
Mm,
that says, we practice what we preach and we'll like, we don't just, I can't remember the words, but essentially it was like, we don't just jump because the email dings and we're
yeah.
going to respond within 48 hours.
Yeah.
Like it was really clear. It was really like, and it was every auto reply,
Mm,
everything. Was like you can expect like the team
yeah.
because we honor our boundaries, and it's like, yeah, we need more of that.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like you still learn those things along the way. Like even if you have holidays and things like planned, like, coming up and things like that, just setting those clear expectations, saying, oh, hey, I'm actually unavailable at these times. Whereas
Yeah.
before, I would get really anxious about ever having time off, and so I would never have
Mhm.
time off. I would take my laptop with me away and work because I was so scared that I would be an inconvenience to someone else. So it's like
Mhm.
it really does play a massive effect on your health
Yeah.
if that's how you're running your business. So,
Mm.
mm,
Can I ask then,
mhm.
is that shift and that realization, is that a part or a driver then of a lot of what you are teaching now, which is teaching business owners and empowering them to be able to know a good element of their back end systems and how to do it?
Yeah, I think because the industry, I sense, is so much more overwhelming than what it was when I first started, that in order, and because there's like a lot of offshore VAs and service providers and things like that as well, that people can get a lower price. However, what I am here to do is teach people to be able to understand their worth, for one, and what services they offer, but to also allow them to feel confident enough to price their offers, develop that as well, but also to have the confidence to stand out, to show their personality, to not settle for any less than they should with that level of boundary as well. And things that I've kind of gone through, knowing the triggers or the red flags with certain clients, knowing the ones that are going to be long lasting and the ones that are, that aren't going to last. And I think that understanding that really allows you to work with those dream clients, work with people who
Yeah.
you feel aligned with. And I don't want it to take people that long that it took me to get to that point. So I think
Yes.
that's my mission here, is to help people to get to that point quicker without having
Mhm.
to go through all of those hurdles and mistakes and
Mm.
confidence and all the things that I struggled with that now led me to here, obviously. And yes, everyone's going to have their learning curves, but yeah, I think just being aware of
Mhm.
what it all is.
Mm.
That people can, I think, especially when you're new to business, you can be a little bit naive too.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I want more women to feel more confident with what they are actually here to offer, with what actually
Mhm.
makes them feel good, and not have to say yes to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And are you specifically working with like VAs and people in that sort of direct service-based industry, or is it like other types of services and things that you're supporting?
Yeah, I think any online service provider, I feel like the industry can be slightly varied, but most of the foundations and what it takes to build structure and set those
Mm.
boundaries can be really similar across the board. So,
Mm.
and I've had clients who have been, social media managers and things like that before, and they all struggle with very similar things.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I do think in the online space it's all quite similar depending like, doesn't matter what industry you're in.
Mm. Let's talk about how you have supported me in the back end of my business because, as I said, there's been so many roles and so many
Mm.
things that you've done. One of the things I think that I know I am most proud of, um, oh, actually, no, can I pivot back? I'm going to pivot back because something just popped into my head that I wanted to ask you about before, and it was around the boundaries.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm going to make a note. We're going to come back. Sorry, guys. This is how my brain works. You put up a post the other day about a client who had messaged you, was it the day after you gave birth?
Yeah, like literally a few hours after. Yeah.
A few hours after. Can you
Hmm.
tell us about how you handled that? Because
Yeah.
that my jaw dropped. My jaw
Yeah.
dropped. I was like, okay.
It was if it like she it was okay. So situation was I had just given birth and I had taken there was obviously no real set time for when I was taking leave because obviously we didn't know when it was going to happen, right? Um but it got to a point where yeah, I told her that I had just had my son and he was in intensive care at that point. And she messaged me, but it wasn't, it was something for an urgent task. Now, I don't believe anything is urgent in business. And I had already given her all of the things that she had to do while I was on leave. I've shown her the whole process. I'd given her like a video tutorial on how to onboard her clients, and she just didn't watch it. And so that was a triggering point for me because you can prepare as much as possible, but
Yeah,
it's
and
either
you
people,
did.
yeah.
Like I learned because I know I launched my mastermind while you were on leave, but we
Mm.
prepared it all as in launch for the like first time ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was that timing, but we had all launch everything prepared like
Hmm.
as best as we possibly could so
Yeah.
that I could do as much of just what I could as possible.
Yeah.
We I think we pre-recorded podcasts, like we did so many things. You were
Yeah.
so prepared as best as we could be. Like you were
Yeah.
so prepared. Oh my God.
Yeah. And that was, yeah, that was definitely a triggering point because I was like,
Mm,
it was just that I wasn't annoyed. It was kind of like a light bulb, be like, okay, she
mm,
doesn't feel confident enough to do this herself.
yeah.
So she had all the information, she had the how-tos, but either one, she couldn't be bothered, or two, she didn't trust herself to do it correctly.
Mm,
And to me, it was more of a learning opportunity to be like, okay, more women need to feel more confident with what
mm,
they're doing in their own business.
yeah.
Um, and that's a lot of the reason why people outsource is because they don't understand the tech, or it's too hard, or
Mm,
it's too time consuming. But a big difference between why me and you have been working together for so long compared to other people I've worked with who didn't last very long was because you know how your business runs,
mm.
right? You might not be your zone of genius in certain parts, or it
And I
might take
might not
you
like
longer.
doing it.
Yeah, or exactly. You might not like doing it, but you understood it,
I
right?
do know how, yeah, I
And
can jump in and fix a funnel if I need to
yeah,
on a weekend, or if something goes drastically wrong, I can go in or if I just want something done because I'm in
mm,
a rush on my own timeline one night or something. Like I'm sure you probably pop in and see emails like, oh, I didn't schedule that one.
yeah. Yeah. So like it's that, and that's a big difference
Yeah.
is people who understand their business and then go to outsource are going to be
Mm,
a lot more successful because they
yeah.
understand it to begin with.
Mm,
Whereas she didn't understand any part of her business before she
yeah.
hired me. So it was all on me. And so she didn't then have the confidence to go and implement it herself in case she messed it up or in case she did the wrong thing or sent the old form or, like, and that
Yeah.
was it was at the time I was like, oh my God, how dare she? But also it was like, okay, she doesn't feel good enough, like good about herself enough
Yeah.
to do this. And that was kind of a turning point for me as well, because I was like, hey,
Yeah.
more women need to feel more confident with how their business
Yeah.
runs from behind their
And
scenes.
she had given you all the power in her business.
Yeah.
And I don't mean
Yeah.
that in like, I don't know. I actually, no, I don't think I need to justify that.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
had handed over her power in her own
Yeah.
business.
And then she didn't know how to do
Right.
it without me there. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was, and that's what I preached all over my social media the last few months as well,
Mm,
is that if you want to outsource, that's great. But if you're outsourcing because you don't understand something, what happens when they go on leave? What happens when they have a baby? What happens if, they all of a sudden up and quit? Like you're stuck with nothing and learning from
mm,
scratch again. So
yeah.
like it's massive to, yeah, to want to outsource, but you have to understand how your business works
Yeah.
from your own, like on your own before someone else comes in, because then also you don't know if they're doing it right. You don't know what's
Mm,
working. You don't know what's not working. Like
yeah.
you don't understand it. You can't fix, you can't improve.
Mm,
And
yeah.
yeah, so that was a really big, like, okay, I'm not just going to be the to-do person. I need to teach
Mhm.
more people how
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. You definitely are ready to be teaching. I can feel
Mm,
that. And just that empowerment behind what you're
mm,
saying is massive
yeah.
because business owners, and yeah, I don't know why I feel like I could upset someone by saying this. I don't know why I feel like that, but it's like you really could be preaching to business owners about not giving away their power to their VAs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot of people do.
yeah,
A lot of people hire me and be like, I don't know what you can do. Can you just come and fix this? And
yeah,
they'll be like, I don't know what you've actually done.
yeah,
It's like, well,
yeah,
yeah, I know you don't.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So moving then back to the conversation I half started before about the back end of my business, one of the things that I think that we have achieved in my business that I know is one of the things that I am the most proud of is the way that we look after the clients in my world and the
Yeah.
people, which has led to things like 100% high
Hmm.
ticket mastermind retention.
Yeah.
It's led to people moving through multiple containers. You know, you think you need so many people coming into your world to have a successful financial business, but you need to move people through your world,
Yeah.
you know, and
100%.
yeah, tell me, because I've done some episodes about, my human first strategy, if that's what
Hmm.
we want to call it.
Yeah.
Um, and the intimacy and all of those things. But tell me a little bit from your like lens of observing, being in the back end, implementing, like what do you think really contributed to all of that?
Yeah. I definitely think when people talk about human first or client retention, it is so overlooked
Mm,
or nearly to the point where people are like, oh, yeah, I already know that. But you'd be surprised at how many business owners are not prioritizing the clients who are already in their world.
yeah.
Like, I've been part of spaces and I've been part of your spaces, obviously behind the scenes, and I've seen a massive disconnect and the level of connection that you have with your clients to what I've received on a different lens as well, being in a different space is so different. And it honestly is like a testament as to why you have 100% retention rate. Like that is incredible. And that is nearly unheard of these days. Like
Yeah,
people
in
are
this
going in and
industry.
out of containers all the time. And myself included, I've been in and out of different containers because you don't get that level of like the personalization anymore is just not gone. It's like people come in, they
Mm.
pay, they jump on a call every now and then, that's it at the moment. Like
Yeah.
it's, but yeah, the way that you deliver your mastermind is not like what I see
Oh,
very
I love
often.
hearing that because I,
It's,
I obviously have got my ladies and their feedback, but
mm,
you're seeing other people's containers.
yeah. And I think a lot of that is that it is not just through your processes, because we can do all the automations, we can do all the
Mm.
like the onboarding, offboarding, all the things, but you've always gone that next step deeper. Like even just your onboarding, for example, you don't just ask what their name and email is. You actually ask the questions of what are their goals, what is their fear, like what is their favorite food, like things like that. We actually get to know who they are, what
Mm.
they love, how you get to support them, not just in a business perspective, but
Yeah.
as a human perspective as well. Like, how do they best feel supported? And
Mm.
also, you check in with them. Like, it's not like okay, join every 12 months. It's like
Mm.
every 3 to 6 months, you're checking in. Is everything working well? Like, where should we
Yeah.
fix things up? Or, is it too overwhelming? Or is it, all the things? Like, I feel like you genuinely give a damn about
Mm.
who's in your
Yeah.
world. And
Yeah. Oh, I
it's
love them to
massive.
bits. Like
Exactly. Like they're
I
part
have
of
so
you. And
much love.
I feel connected to them. I'm like feeling like they're in my spaces
Yeah.
because,
Do you know how
we're all
beautiful
just a
they
team.
are? Well, you
Yeah.
do know how beautiful they are, but I just got on to record episode 200 with a couple of mentees. And when I got on there, one of them was like, check your emails. And I was like, okay. And they had organized me a day spa voucher
Uh,
just to say thank you for
yeah.
nurturing them. Like
Yeah.
I cried. I was like, oh, this is so
Yeah. And how
yeah, I
many?
don't even have words for
Yeah.
that. But how many people are gifting their coach something? Like I was like, oh, I
Exactly.
love you so much. Like we have such a beautiful connection.
Mm,
But it's so funny that some things are perceived as like going an extra step,
mm.
whereas to my brain it's just like, isn't that what we do? Don't we send
Yeah.
people birthday gifts and we, like
Yeah.
don't we just do those things?
Which
Is
people
that
don't. People like no one
yeah.
does that. No one sends the birthday gifts or
See, I've always had that experience. So in
yeah.
my like in Tracy's mastermind, we
Mm,
get nurtured in that way too. And
yeah.
so I guess for me, then I've just been like, well, this is the
That's the standard.
standard.
That's yeah.
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 Yeah. And it's the
And see,
same in
I've
past
never
businesses
experienced that. I've
too.
been in
Yeah.
three different masterminds and not once experienced that.
Wow.
I even had to follow up with one of them about my container ending because she didn't even know when my container ended.
Oh
So
no.
it's like there's just that disconnect.
Makes me
And
sad.
I think so many people want to have masterminds and group programs at the moment that the personal touch is just, it's slowly getting lost.
Hmm.
And there is a reason why they don't have a high retention rate. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's that extra step or,
Mm.
that more things that you have to be doing. It's just your character, it's how you connect, it's how you show people to feel supported and how you want to
Yeah.
be supported. And I think
Yeah.
that just it shows a lot in your personality as well.
Yeah. Thank you. What do you say works really well in the back end, just of the business in general? Like, I'm just really curious because I'm pretty open about all the processes and things that we
Mm.
go through. Like, what do you think that we've set up really well, that's working really well? Like, what do you see working well in the back end of my business?
Honestly, it's not overcomplicated.
Mm.
And I think everyone tries to overcomplicate it with all the different systems and all the different processes, but like
Switching
you're
to Ivory was a really good idea too.
yes,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, you're always going to have those little technical faults and things like that that pop up with any
Always.
program. But yeah, Ivory was a good choice.
Mm.
Obviously reducing the amount of different platforms. But even before then, like there wasn't any 50-step process to anything. It was really to the point. It was here's the information you need, here's what you need to do,
I love that
and
because I
that's
was like,
it.
am I overcomplicating everything? So I
Yeah.
love you. I'm glad I asked that question. No, I'm not. There we
Yeah.
go. Because I see in the back end of my mentees' businesses,
Mm,
but obviously I'm going to mentor from my lens and perspective. So I don't see in the back end of other businesses. So I'm
mm,
glad to hear that because I was like, oh yeah, I am
yeah.
overcomplicating. And I'm
Mm.
really curious, how do you handle me being a manifesting generator who moves at lightning speed when I decide that I want something and often forget to inform?
If you keep it interesting, that's good. We're just gonna say that. It's definitely
Elaborate.
interesting. Yeah. No, it's good because it's not boring. No, like it's entertaining. And I actually love that about you because you're like, nah, screw this. We're gonna do this instead. And but
We
because
just
we've
spent
already
6 months building something. Oh well. Didn't you
yeah,
just pay for a year
it's all
subscription?
learning.
Oh well. Remember when I went to build an app? Remember I was like, we're gonna build this app,
We
and then
spent
poor
like three
Gab.
months doing that and then it just didn't happen.
And then I just went, I fucking hate this
Yeah,
program.
it's all
And then Gab
learning.
goes, thank God I hated it too. I was like, okay,
It was actually
good.
that was probably the worst thing that we could have ever possibly
I
done,
know,
I
I know.
think.
Had to learn by getting
Yeah,
by getting
thank
your
God.
hands dirty.
Yeah, yeah.
Frustrated the shit out. I won't name it because that's not nice, but
Yeah.
no.
But that's this thing though. We have all of those crazy ideas that didn't pan out. We always came back to the basics. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. And that's what I do love is that you could have the most crazy random pivot idea, but it's never like complex. It's like, okay, cool, that's a new idea. That's great. Now all we have to do is do the same process. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's never
Yeah.
been I mean, the app was probably the most drastic thing we've ever had to do, or switching our whole platform into one another, but it worked out in the
And
end.
me thinking it was going to take, what did we were like, oh no, well,
Yeah,
I
we
think I
started in
said
November and tried
started
to
in
get it done before
November.
Christmas.
I wanted it done by January. Just because I was naive. I had no idea.
Yeah, Jess, it's not going to take that long.
I was like, it's only this little bit, and you can click this button and this
Yeah,
import. So it won't take that long. And
yeah.
then we ended up getting so frustrated that I just got
Mm.
them to build it.
Yeah, we should have done that from the start.
Should have done it from the start.
But we were both learning, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
honestly,
right. It
like,
was a new platform
love
to
that
both of
platform
us.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm.
now, I mean, you love it so much that
Mm.
you talk about it all the time. You, I assume
Yeah.
you affiliate for it. Like yeah, we have made a good decision.
Yeah, that one works.
Oh, I think it was last Christmas.
Yeah.
I sent you a message like in the break time or just after saying, "Oh, by the way, I've just rebranded over the Christmas
Mm,
period."
yeah.
Meeting with the new brand going into like, and we knew we were going to Jessica Reed, but I was
Mm,
like, by the way, just rebranded, whole new visuals, whole
yeah.
new, yeah, yeah. And then what was my most recent one? It was like a oh yeah, by the way, the mastermind names just
Yeah,
recently,
Mastermind and the Academy, everything is just all
but it had
changing.
to rebirth.
Well,
That's
there
the
you go.
thing.
There's a reason though. So it's
Yeah.
not like you ever do anything without good reason.
No, well, the thing is, like I was talking about with you before about you pivoting and the identity in the business coming
Hmm.
into balance. For me to continue, even with the names of those programs, but the
Mm.
essence of the messaging, for me to continue with that, it would have been me continuing from a different identity, and
Yeah.
so it had to pivot.
Yeah.
The Ascension Academy, the essence of what I'm teaching, the journey from survival identity through ascension of symptoms, through visibility into the wealth energetics and the normalizing your new standard, that hasn't
Hmm.
changed.
Yeah.
But the energy of the program has.
Mm.
And so yeah, but there was this
And
I
things do need to change. Like if
yeah,
it's, as over the last 8 years in business, like you have to be able to be okay to
you have
evolve
to be able
things
to
and
pivot.
change and yeah, pivot.
Yeah. But I do that. And so, as a manifesting generator, my secondary strategy, I am supposed to inform as a
Mm.
part of my strategy, respond
You're
and
getting better. You're getting
I'm
really good.
I'm practicing. I like it takes a lot because I tend to move, change things, start something half done, and then go,
Mm.
oh, by the way,
Yeah.
by the way, I had this big like surge on the weekend and I've created this, but it's all half finished now. Can you like go in
Yeah.
and finish it for me? And like
Yeah.
oh, I often wonder what it's like to be on the other end, on the receiving end of my
Oh,
brain.
no, honestly, it does not even bother me because what I do love is that you can have those big pivots or big, by the way, we're changing this moment, but it's never urgent, do it now. And that is why it works well between us because
Yeah.
you respect me, I respect you. And
Yeah.
those boundaries are never pushed just because we have a change of mind. Like, yeah, sure,
Mhm.
we might have to redo a few things and, prioritize more one week and then the other or things like that. But like, there's never that expectation of urgency.
Yeah.
And that's why it works. That's why we've worked for so long, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I would love to ask you how someone can work with you if they feel really pulled. How can they get into your world?
Well, probably the best way would be to reach out to me on Instagram. I am offering coaching in the 2026. So either through there, I do have application form on my Instagram bio, so people can come there, or honestly, voice chat in the DMs because it's going to be the easiest way, especially coming to the Christmas break. Um, Otherwise, yeah, I do have a few links in my Instagram bio, but we'll pop them in the show notes as well anyway.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will, because I'll be doing that for you.
I was going to say you will. I didn't know if that was rude or not.
No, so we'll make sure they're in there, but yeah, that's gonna be the best way.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, this has
Thank
been
you
a
for
really
having me.
great
This has been
conversation.
good.
Yeah, so good. So go and say hello, let Gab know what you loved about this conversation. If you resonated, if you want to inquire about coaching. Do you know, actually I was talking to someone the other week and they were exploring how can I make money whilst, because I think there is a reality of launching coaching, launching online offers that
Hmm.
you're well aware of that sometimes they can take a little while to get
Yeah.
off the ground and we can take a little while to nail our messaging and this particular client was saying, oh, maybe I am gonna have to go get a job while I'm building this thing. And I was like, what skills have you got? And she was like, oh, bookkeeping and this and that. And I was like, okay, so do you want to get a job or do you want to maybe be a virtual assistant, for example, and still run your business, but just
Yeah.
have different income streams coming in from that. And
Mm.
she was like, how would I even start that? Where would I even get my clients from?
Yeah.
If that's something that you're thinking, like, how would I would love to have a separate income stream while I'm also growing my dream programs, but knowing that sometimes they do take a little bit of time.
Mhm.
That's something that Gab can coach you with.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I have been through that phase. I'm trying to launch an academy at the same time at the moment, but I know that you can't always rely on one source. Like you said, sometimes you do need to have one source of income while you build your forever offer and all things like that. So
Yeah.
fully have experienced that myself as well.
Yeah, that's so funny. You said forever offer because my manifesting generator brain just like as the word forever.
Offers then.
I don't have forever homes. I don't have forever offers. You don't have no,
Mm.
no, no. But you can.
Evolving
You
offers.
can. You can have a forever offer because you have the energy to go deep into something that lights you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this has been so fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Resource with Jessica Reed. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with another soul-led entrepreneur who is also ready to rise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected because when you are deeply resourced, you become unstoppable. Until next time, my friend, stay resourced, stay radiant, and trust in the magic that is you.